If you're feeling frustrated, embarrassed, and maybe even angry about the way your dog behaves, then it's important you hear what I'm about to share. If you don't solve these bad habits quickly, you will end up with a dog that's constantly anxious, distressed, and downright unhappy. Since you're watching this video, I'm going to assume that you didn't buy a dog so you could make its life miserable. You've landed on this page because, like thousands of other dog owners, your dog is probably driving you nuts with its bad habits. And so far, none of the tips, tricks, and best training advice have worked. A dog that pees inside the house, barks all night, takes you for a walk, and nips, bites, growls, or won't sit or come when called is not exactly what you had in mind, right? And if you are feeling like you're at your wit's end with some of these bad habits, rest assured you're not alone. In fact, some of these bad habits become so overwhelming for many dog owners that they just can't cope. So they end up sending them back to the pound or worse. Quite frankly, it breaks my heart to see both the dog owner and the dog experience that level of stress. No doubt you've heard the saying, "Your dog needs to know who's boss," countless times and thought, yeah, I know that. But there's more to that saying than most people realize. When your dog doesn't understand who's boss, it instinctively thinks it is. And when this happens, not only does it begin to lead the pack, it feels the need to protect the pack. And the consequences of this can be absolutely disastrous and downright dangerous. If you thought potty training was your biggest problem right now, that's a walk in the park compared to what happens down the track. Owning a dog that doesn't listen to your commands can make life a living nightmare. A dog that walks out in front of you and pulls on the lead can quickly turn into a dog that launches at other dogs, or even worse, people or small children. And before you know it, that cute little ball of fur you brought home is starting to resemble some creature out of a horror movie. If you've ever experienced a dog that pulls on the lead or launches at will, you've probably found yourself naturally reacting in one of two ways. You either try and yank the dog back, or you start scolding and yelling. And when that doesn't work, you automatically yank harder and raise your voice even louder. Yet not only do neither of these methods work, you end up confusing the heck out of your dog, which ultimately results in what we spoke about earlier. A dog that is constantly anxious and unhappy. Why? Because if you don't let your dog know that it can sit back and relax knowing you're leading the pack, its natural instinct causes it to become hyper alert and take on that role for you. So when you reprimand and scold it for doing what it thinks is right, confusion, anxiety, and bad habits begin to set in. Howling while you're out, leading to angry calls from neighbors. Nipping, biting, and growling at strangers. Pulling on the lead and launching at perceived threats. Digging holes and chewing up shoes and other objects. Not knowing where to pee or poop. Maybe you've already experienced one or several of these behaviors in your dog. All of these patterns of bad behavior are not only frustrating for you as a dog owner, they can be devastating for your dog's spirit and overall well-being, which I'm sure you don't want. If you've been trying to solve any of these problems, no doubt you've been bombarded with endless streams of advice on what does and doesn't work when it comes to training your dog. Ranging from the cruel and draconian methods that, quite frankly, I think should be banned, like shock collars, debarking, or even hitting the dog, to the not-so-cruel like bribing with food and special treats. Heck, maybe you've even had to resort to getting those bark buster dudes to come over to your house. You know the ones. They charge through the roof but guarantee their training will work. And while they're there, you watch your dog behave like the dream dog and you feel like you're dealing with the dog whisperer. You're relieved and excited that all it took was one phone call. Then something strange happens. You thank the trainer profusely, close the front door, and wham! All of a sudden, Dream Dog is straight back to the same habits. A couple of days later, you call the company back, only to be told, "There's nothing wrong with your dog. You saw how it behaved when I was there." You hang up humiliated and decide there must be something wrong with you. Believe me, there's nothing wrong with you. It's not your fault that you've only been shown methods that work some of the time, and then when you don't have a cookie, the dog ignores you. You're only human after all, so of course there's going to be times when you forget to make sure there's an endless supply of treats in your pocket. But what if I told you about a revolutionary training method that doesn't use bribes? In fact, not only doesn't it use bribes, it involves no touching, no scolding, or yelling to get your dog to listen to you. And I'm not talking about months down the track, or days, or even hours. I'm talking about getting your dog to listen to you within minutes. You heard right, within minutes. When you opt in on this page, I'm going to send you my training video that shows you exactly how to do this as a free gift to say thank you for being such a dedicated dog owner. No catch, it's completely free. Okay, there is one teeny-weeny catch. I put months of hard work into perfecting this method, and the truth is, what really motivated me to make this available to you for free is because I love dogs. I've had dogs all my life, and I get upset when I see them distressed, anxious, or unhappy. I don't want you to have to spend your precious time with your dog scolding and reprimanding it. I want you to experience what it's like to really bond with a dog, like it's your closest friend on the planet. A dog that loves and respects you. And once it learns to listen to you, that's exactly what's going to happen. So in a moment, when you fill in the form on this page, I have one small request. Promise me that you'll watch the free video and start the training right away. Sound like a fair deal? Owning a dog that listens to you is more rewarding than you can imagine, not to mention fun. Enter your details on this page right away, and the free training video is yours to keep. Your dog, your loved ones, and your neighbors will thank you for it.